So I saw this note. This is from yesterday evening, I believe, and it could even have a date or a time that's different than that. Steve Berkowitz does a great job, covers college sports for the USA Today. Here is what he put up. New NCAA, the NCAA's new federal tax records show it had $52.5 million in outside legal interest for the year 21, fiscal year 21, when appeal of Austin to SCOTUS occurred. That's down about $15 million from fiscal year 20. But over the past 7 fiscal years, the NCAA has shown that they have spent $304.5 million in outside legal expenses and $69.1 million in legal cost recoveries.
So that's almost $400 million to lose.
$400 million to fight something that you know in the end it's going to, this is not like, territory here. And again, it was. There's a turf war. And they kind of, at some point, you would think one of those attorneys that got $1 or $2 would have said, guys, my job is to represent you and I'll do everything I can. But we're swimming upstream and we're going to run out of breath.
That could have built so many hospitals, schools, affordable housing, and just millions just thrown away and burnt basically in a pile like the Joker in The Dark Knight because just morons are at the helm of this defense the NCAA has, had to put up. That's not even surprising in any way, shape, or form. You knew it was in the millions of dollars of just burnt money. So, yeah, they've thrown away a lot of money for cases they knew they were going to lose from the very beginning. And, Mark Emmert's on his way out for a reason. I think that probably plays into it a little bit, just, wasting tens of millions of dollars on court cases that you could have prevented from even happening in some cases. And in other cases, you had all that time and all that money and you were still inadequately prepared for it. So please explain that to me somehow. How are these the people in charge when you're that off base, that you've wasted that much money for cases you're going to lose, or cases that you just simply had occur because you were too lazy to do anything about it when you had a chance to?
Here's a couple of them. Go ahead.
They lost 9-0 in the Supreme Court. That does not happen all that often. There's usually, there's no dissenting opinion in the Austin case. Not one judge said, look, I understand. And even sometimes there's a dissenting opinion where you think the judge, if you read it, the judge is like, well, look, I don't agree with this, but they're close. This was 9-0. And judges from both sides of the political aisle were in unison on that. In the parlance of our century and political discord and judicial review and all that stuff, that does not happen that often. And I'm sure their lawyers, of which they are very, very good, were telling them, look, this is how this is going to go. But the people at the helm were like, look, we're into the breach here, and we're going until the end.
Well, if the lawyers even said, I'm sure the lawyers probably told them that, but they probably also were just laughing all their way to the bank while they realized, hey, this is a non-winnable case, but hey, we'll take the money from you idiots if you want to pay it to us. So yeah, go right ahead. But
Mark Emmert took pandemic-related 20% pay cut. Listen, wait for this. Wait for it. During 4 months of 2020 after basketball tournaments were canceled, but still got greater compensation than he had in 2019. The NCAA tax records show he totaled just under $3 million in 2020. So he took a 20% pay cut in 2020 because the tournaments were canceled, the moneymakers in the spring, and yet still made more money than the year before. I want to read, and you guys, as you want, and the chat room, text line 254-339-1122. Here are some of the responses on Twitter from Don. Somehow, it's still reported that they are short-staffed because of COVID cutbacks after spending that kind of money legally. Austin Hills, though, I don't know the answer to this, but it was a response to it. Are the cost recoveries proceeds from various lawsuits they won? Tony Baloney, the NCAA doesn't win lawsuits.
Yeah, what have they won? If they don't win anything, like he said, they don't ever win. So, yeah, I don't know what they would be receiving, money-wise. All that money's going out the door, not into their coffers. And I don't know, we don't, got to be careful of just assuming everything. But sure. I don't know why it's taken them this long to get people back into the office. I mean, pretty much everybody's been back at it. I think that we all realize that COVID is something you live with. We barely even mention it at this point because everybody's learned to kind of handle it the best that they can. And that's not to say that it's not creating some issues still, but there's really no reason at all why they should not have full staff. I mean, there's really no reason at all. It's not like you can't be in the office right now. It's not like there's not positions open. It's not like there's not money. So I would need to hear from the NCAA on why exactly they're still short-staffed and having such a hard time. But I'm not going to let that be an excuse for them on why they're not getting things done. They're not getting things done because they're simply not good at getting things done. And, to say, oh, well, they're short-staffed, give me a break. I mean, what has that really changed? Nothing, really. I mean, nothing in my eyes. Maybe you can point something out where, hey, they were short-staffed, so this didn't get done, but they weren't going to win the Alston case because they were short-staffed. Nothing changes with the lawsuits. Nothing changes with really anything, quite frankly. So I think that's a convenient excuse, but it's a lame excuse.
Well, go ahead. Go back 50 years to Title IX, and you think about the way the NCAA is set up. Have they really been told you're doing this right by anyone since Title IX? Because Title IX essentially is, not everybody has the opportunity to play here. So you have to make sure you have equal scholarship opportunities for men and women, because women are playing half-court basketball in half the country, and that's dumb.
And 6-on-6, whatever.
And all this other stuff. So we got to make sure that these scholarship availabilities are the same across the board. So they had to pass that statute. And then as you go down the line, look, the name, image, likeness, and all the other things was a very slow burn, because there wasn't, until O'Bannon, there wasn't a big enough, law firm that was going to take it on and realize that they were going to be in this for 20 years, maybe in a case. But once that happened, once there was significant support for it, the NCAA started to lose, because fundamentally, based on the laws and the Constitution of this country, what they've set up wasn't legal.
Here's a couple of more responses. How many people know exactly what all this means? Explain it like I'm a third grader. Alston versus the NCAA mainly. They were paying that kind of money to keep players powerless, paying with revenue generated by those that the NCAA tries to keep silent. Mark Emmert, visionary. And there's more and more about it. And again, we don't have all the details, but Steve Berkowitz with that story earlier today. And so I wanted to share that with you to start the show. And in the chat room, of course, some of the responses, of course,
the basic summary is that Alston realized, hey, I'm seeing myself in a video game, although they're not naming me by name, but everything is pointing to that's me. And or that was Ed O'Bannon, excuse me.
O'Bannon, yeah.
But Ed O'Bannon, and then which leads into Alston and all that, is basically college athletes or former college athletes realizing, hey, Ed O'Bannon in particular, why is my jersey number being sold in the school pro shop and I'm in a video game, but none of it's by name and none of the money goes to me, and realizing, oh, what a racket this is. And basically just coming to the conclusion that this is all wrong and unfair and basically illegal, and saying this is enough, and going and filing a lawsuit and demanding that changes and that more of the profit goes to players for their name, image, and likeness. And here we are. I mean, that's the basic mini summary I could give on kind of what's occurred.
Ed O'Bannon's story is one of my favorites in that they put his picture on the video game, because that UCLA team that he was on was absolutely fantastic on the college basketball video game. And then, he's out in the world somewhere, and some of his friends go, "Oh my God, Ed, you're on the cover, and congratulations!"
I remember when all that happened. I was like, "Well, that's never going to amount to anything."
We had Ed on the show a couple times. I know, back at the old station, and asked him how it started out, and they came to him, and everybody who knew him thought like, "Oh, Ed must have gotten some money from this." He's like, "No, I didn't get a dime from this." And then it wasn't for Ed O'Bannon, which is really admirable. This wasn't about him getting money. It started thinking like, well, how many other people have they done this to?
All of them.
All of them.
Every single human student athlete.
Yeah. He was just an easy face to the problem.
We will